she leaves her kids so she can party hard all night.
They drink a lot, hang on guys.
You're completely in control of the situation, no problem.
No problem at all.
Then what are you doing snorting coke 3 weekends in a row? You're flashing your breast. Are you insane?
Those are taken out of context in the film.
Did somebody tell you I was stupid?
Plus,
It's been a year since his wife vacuumed or even dusted. She says that her large chest prevents her from cleaning.
I feed the kid to get the kids dressed because my wife is still asleep.
Lazy effing bitch. Those were his favorite words.
Half the time when I ask you to do it, you will tell me no.
I don't like doing housework.
I understand you don't like it. What's that got to do with it? All right, you're gonna like today because everyone feels like they sometimes have to do a little more compromising than their husband or wife just to get along, right? But today's guests say it's so bad at home that they feel like a slave to their spouse, trapped, held hostage by their love for them and the fact that there are kids involved. Now, my first guest, Jeffrey, says he hates that his new wife goes out drinking with her friends who are younger and, according to him, a wild crowd. Now, she leaves the kids with her 16-year-old stepdaughter and stays out sometimes until 6 a.m. while he works the night shift. All right, calm down. Now, Mindy says her husband is just really jealous and constantly needs to know where she is and what she's doing. She says if Jeffrey had it his way, she'd never leave the house. Take a look.
My wife Mindy wants to be married but still go out and act like she's single. I feel neglected. I feel cheated.
I'm 30. I'm not dead. I'm not ready for crochet hooks and an oxygen tank.
You're still a wife and a mother. You should be worrying about that before you worry about your damn friends. She has given me reason not to trust her.
I did break my trust with Jeffrey.
Every time Mindy goes out, she leaves the kids with my 16-year-old daughter all night and doesn't even think twice about it.
I've been clean for about 7 years, and I started using again.
When I'm working from 6 in the evening to 6 in the morning, I ask her, can you not go out on those nights? She agreed. It turned out to be a problem. So then I say, okay, let's come up with a different compromise. You go out, have a good time, and you'll be home before I get home from work.
I'll be home at 2.
That's what you said the last time. There's 2 times that I can think of where I got off at 6 a.m., got home at 6:30, and she still wasn't home. Mindy's best friends are party girls. They go out, drink a lot, hang on guys, get on guys. They're irresponsible.
Jeffrey thinks that because my friends have a tendency to be a little wild, that I'm gonna follow suit and do the same things that they do.
Oh my God, it's Jeffrey!
Jeffrey calls me and texts me 15 to 20 times a night.
I do call and text her a lot.
Jeffrey freaks if I don't answer him right away. He assumes that I'm doing something that I shouldn't be doing. He'll call anybody that I'm with.
All I want her to do is call me, so I know she's okay.
I cannot believe that you texted again.
Jeffrey is the warden, and I'm the prisoner.
I've had trust issues with women.
Jeffrey is extremely paranoid that I'm going to cheat on him. He's had problems in past relationships, so he assumes that I'm going to go out and cheat on him also.
I can't say that I know that she won't cheat on me. I can't.
I do feel like everyone's slave. I cook, I clean, I take care of the kids. I'm pulled in a million different directions. I need some time to myself once in a while.
I've been told this is the way it's gonna be, and if you don't like it, then you shouldn't have married me.
The going out and the clubbing has been a constant source of conflict, but I don't feel like that's part of me that I'm ready to give up right now. If Jeffrey told me quit going out with my friends, we probably would get divorced. I'm not gonna sell my soul to be married to him.
Dr. Phil, how do I make my wife realize that she's married now? I can't be a slave to her party girl ways.
Now, Jeffrey, you wrote the letter.
Correct.
Because you feel like you're on a slippery slope and it's getting worse all the time.
All right.
Tell me, is that the first time you've seen footage of her in a club? I mean, we hadn't shown you that before.
No.
I wouldn't do anything when we were not together that I don't do when we are together.
All right, he asked you to marry him,
Correct.
and you said yes.
Yes.
So you agreed to be married.
Right.
Okay, tell me what married meant to you.
It meant that we had constant companionship and raise our family together. You know, we have a blended family. You know, just to be there for each other. I was the same way when Jeffrey and I met. I haven't changed any. I went out before. The big difference is now is that we don't like to invite Jeffrey to go with us because every time that he's gone out with us, he has started a fight with me.
Okay, but
No, you
you're
take what I
saying
say wrong.
But you're saying before you got married, you went out and partied and clubbed and all.
With the same people, with my same friends. I went out, I drank, he would go with me.
Okay, and you don't think that it's odd for a partner in a relationship to have a problem with you going out to a club, a watering hole, where people go to meet and hook up and dance and all of that? You don't think there's anything inconsistent with being a married woman and a mother doing that while your husband's not there or your husband's at work?
This is not something that I do all of the time. I go out once in a great while, and the other, 28 days a month, I am at home with my kids. I'm going to work. I'm doing the cooking, the cleaning, the laundry, the baths, the homework. I do all of that stuff.
And you're completely in control of the situation, no problem?
No problem at all.
If you're in control and this is all just no problem, what are you doing snorting coke 3 weekends in a row?
I wasn't out
or
when I
one
was
weekend.
doing it. I wasn't out when I was doing it. I was at home.
Wherever you are. Wherever you are. Oh, so the kids are in the other room and you're in the next room snorting cocaine.
Yes.
Okay. And you go out to these clubs and you're just being with your friends, but yet there have been occasions where you're flashing your breast.
No.
In these clubs.
No, that is completely,
That's
that is
not
not
true.
true. That is not true. I showed them
That's
to a
false.
woman in a bathroom after I had breast implants done.
I tell you, I've been in a lot of bathrooms and I ain't never showed anything to anybody.
It's a little different for men.
Well, okay, hold on. We're going to take a break. Now, the question is, should Jeffrey worry about Mindy's friends who he thinks have a trampy nature? Well, we're going to talk to one of her friends when we come back, and we're going to find out what is going on and whether it's something you ought to be worried about or not. There's two sides to every story, and we're going to hear your side for sure.
Mindy and I have been married for 7 months, and she chooses to go out with her friends instead of me. I don't like Mindy going out to the clubs because of men.
It's flattering when other men come up and hit on me.
I asked her before, do you dance with other men? And she told me no. A month later, I ask her again. She says yes. So now what am I supposed to believe?
Well, Jeffrey wants his wife to have friends who go out to dinner and a movie, not drinking and dancing until dawn. Now, his wife, Mindy, says he wants her to stay home and slave away with the kids. She says she wants to have her freedom, so she sometimes will stay out till 6 in the morning. Not always, but sometimes. Now, she claims she always wears her wedding ring when she's at the club, but her friend Stephanie tells another story. Take a look.
Mindy's best friend is wild. She drinks a lot, makes out with girls, sleeps around with random guys.
My name's Stephanie. I'm Mindy's friend. Jeffrey labels me as the bad friend.
She's just not someone I want my wife hanging around.
When I do get out of the house, I go out with my girlfriends and we get wild.
We've gone out dancing, drinking, flirting. Mindy's flashed her boobs before.
Men come up and hit on me.
Mindy's admittedly taken off her wedding ring.
She's a bad influence.
And I just feel like Jeffrey misplaces his marital problems on me. I really don't feel as though she's doing anything wrong.
Well, I'm just trying to find the bottom here to see where things are. This is your friend Stephanie.
Right.
Thanks for being here, and thanks for talking to us previously. This seems to be a different story. You say, no, I just showed a woman my breast in a bathroom, and you say, no, she's, quote, flashing her boobs at a club. You say you keep your wedding ring on all the time. You say, no, she takes it off sometimes.
She has shown her breast, and that was to a woman in the bathroom when she first got them done. Mindy has taken her ring off just to put in her pocket to get us a free drink or something like that, but always put it back on. It was not that she took it off all night.
Did somebody call you before the show and tell you I was stupid?
No.
No, seriously.
No, that is the honest truth, and you know that is the way it was. She took it off and put it back on.
What's the truth?
Do you take your ring off when you're in these clubs?
I do not.
You say you're doing it to get free drinks.
Yeah.
So in other words, you're taking it off to suggest to people that you are available in an effort to give them an expectation that if they buy you drinks, then they can be with you.
No, 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 no. When Jeffrey and I were engaged, I took my ring off when we went into the bar very few times. I'm adamant about keeping it on my finger now just because
For what purpose?
Well, I don't have a purpose.
What was the purpose of taking it off?
I don't know.
No, but
I just did. Men don't even approach me at the bar, for the most part. And if they do, well, come on now. If they do,
no, that's a good statement. Come on.
For the
now.
most part, they don't. I can't say that I've never been approached at the bar, but I do flat out let people know that I'm married. And usually, the next question out of a man's mouth is, "Are you happily married?" Well,
Okay.
I've been married for 7 months. It's not a bad marriage. It's just that I'm tired of fighting all the time. And I'm tired of feeling like I have to give up a piece of me in order to be with him.
In the tape piece, you were heard to say, "I like it when guys hit on me or are attracted to me." Under your breath said, that's taken out of context.
Yes, it was taken completely out of context.
Well, we have a lot of stuff out of context here. We have you doing cocaine out of context. We have you taking your ring off out of context. We have you doing things to get drinks out of context, showing your breast in a bar out of context, and now we have the fact that you like being hit on out of context, although you said it. So please frame that up for me.
Okay.
Put that in context.
The piece that was taken out of was when I was talking to one of the producers. She asked me if it bothered me that men hit on me at the bar. And I said, well, no. I said, it doesn't bother me because I let them know where I stand. But yeah, it feels nice to know that I'm still attractive. It's not like it goes anywhere other than that.
My opinion doesn't matter?
Excuse me, isn't that what the tape piece said? Where you said, yeah, I like it when I feel that men are attracted to me or they're hitting on me.
Right.
In what way is that out of context? And the reason I ask that is because I got a real professional staff that has the highest level of integrity, and they really get bent out of shape when somebody that they've been working with for days and days and days suggests that they've misrepresented something. And so we want to give you every opportunity to air that out.
I guess maybe
because
out
we
of
got the
context.
raw footage and we can play it all.
Right. Maybe out of context is the wrong way to say it, but the things that I said before and after were cut out of the piece because it's bits and pieces of the tape.
I don't think they would help. I've seen it all. What do you think?
I think she says she gets...
All right, gather your thoughts, you as well. We're going to take a break. Question is, can he trust her or is he trying to put her in jail because he got cheated on before? And I'll guarantee you a big part of this problem is, look, I don't want to pay for the sins of someone that went before me because I didn't do what she did, and that's what I'm getting nailed for here, and I don't think it's unfair. How am I doing?
Yes.
My wife Mindy runs around like she's single.
I go out and party and drink mainly for a break from everyday life. How about pizza rolls?
I don't want her to go out, and she wants to go out.
I was reading a magazine and it had an interview with Dr. Phil. He was saying you don't have to give up yourself to be in a married relationship. You still get to keep a bit of yourself. I'm not willing to be controlled by my husband.
Well, today I'm talking to people who say they're a slave to their spouse. Now, Jeffrey says his wife wants to be married, but still have the single life. Now, he recently learned that his wife is using drugs again, supposedly while she was out with her friend Stephanie, but she says no, it was just at home when she was with the kids. Now, she said she was clean for 7 years before that. Mindy says if Jeffrey makes her choose between him and her friends, marriage is over. If you choose, you lose. That's where you are.
Okay, just to clarify, I am not currently using drugs. I did it for a 3-week period. I stopped on my own, and I told my husband what was going on and my reasons for doing what I did.
But you only told him because you knew it was going to come out on the show, right?
No, I told him because it was weighing very heavy on our relationship.
When did you tell him?
About 5 days ago.
Okay.
There's no way it would have come out on the show. I wasn't going to tell. Stephanie wasn't going to tell, so.
It's not that I'm pissed off that she went and did drugs. I know she's stressed and has to deal with all the crap at home every night because I'm at work, has to deal with the 3 kids, teenage attitude, everything. The whole thing is, I want to be the one to give her the release and take her out. It's not like I'm putting the stress directly on her. So why am I, you know,
Yes, you are.
I'm not
Tell me
there. How am I doing that?
Well, A, by not being there, for one thing. If you never hear an adult voice and you're gone and working all the time and then you're stuck there all the time, I get your issue. I totally do. I mean, I really do. I think you're a nice guy. I think you married a nice guy here.
I know it.
And I certainly don't think you're some kind of evil harlot out
I agree.
running around. But I do think this. I think you've got a legitimate concern that you're dealing with in an illegitimate way. Because, now look, we can just sit up here and talk till the world looks flat, but I can tell you what, any man that is okay with you out doing what you're doing in a bar, you don't want to marry him anyway. If he just says, yeah, hell, go out there and...
It doesn't matter what I do. He
Yeah,
doesn't like
whatever
any
you're
of my
gonna do.
friends.
No,
He doesn't like
that's-
any of my friends.
That's not true.
And then you had a girlfriend that did you wrong too, right?
Several.
There's no question. You got somebody that psychological skin is severely burned, and if you even brush up against it, he's going like, ah. And,
Well,
but,
she says she can't do anything to help me with my insecurity, and that's a load of...
Yeah, I can. I can stay home.
No.
I never have a break that is time just for me unless I go out with Stephanie. And that is...
And I understand that you need your freedom because that's part of the reason why the last marriage failed.
you know, look, I don't care. I've said it before. I don't care how flat you make a pancake. It's got two sides. You clearly brought serious baggage into this relationship. You've been hurt. You've been wounded.
Well, so is she. And that's part of the reason why she needs all the need for independence and feeling, you know, like maybe a superiority complex. I don't know.
But let me finish.
Sorry.
You like talking about her, and she likes talking about you. But right now, I'm talking to you about you. And you think he's paranoid, but it's like everything here's in extremes. It's either I've got to be home and, you know, just be June Cleaver here with the beeve, or I got to be out here in a bar dancing with Stephanie. Well, Stephanie, how old are you, Stephanie?
I'm 24.
You're 24. You're not. You're single. You're not. You have a different agenda. Does that mean that you can't be friends? Of course not.
It doesn't matter what I do, though.
He's come into this relationship contaminated by a learning history that has made him untrusting. No question about that. You are right. You cited me in this magazine that I had done an interview in. I don't remember what magazine it was.
I don't either.
But, and I did say, if you have to stop being who you are to be half of a couple, the price is too high. Absolutely true. But who you are is not a cocaine snorting, breast flashing dancer in some club at night. That's not what I had in mind when I said hang on to that part of who you are. Okay? Now see, you're so busy sucking up right now, you think you've made her mad.
Yeah. Oh, I know I've made her mad.
No, he's made me mad.
You think you made her mad, so you're like, oh, now wait a minute, let's just calm down here. You wanted to get this on the table. I'm all about tabletop. This is on the table. You guys need to do two things. One, you need to stop throwing out ultimatums. If it's between him and my friends, he's out of here. You just don't put your relationship on the line for daily issues. You just don't do it. You need to stop the ultimatum game, and then you guys need to negotiate something that you can both be excited about. A definition of love and marriage and home and family that both of you can be excited about. And it doesn't mean you have to start living in a box because he's wounded. You need to get past that. And then you need to recognize, you know, there are sacrifices you make when you're married. I would not like my wife out in a club for 2 minutes. I don't like that. She's too cute. I don't want her out there. You know, I don't.
Exactly.
I don't want. I totally trust her. But you've got to come up with a plan you can both be excited about. Stop the ultimatums. Negotiate something you can both be peaceful with, where you feel like I do have my life. I do have some independence. I get to have friends and be who I am. But you got to modify some of the ways in which you pursue that. In fact, I will arrange for counseling for you in your town, for somebody to sit down and say, look, here's how this works. Somebody that follows my philosophy, studied all the things that I've done, and they will sit down and walk you through a negotiation of something you can both be happy with. if you will do that. Will you accept that help?
Of course I will.
Will you accept that help?
Oh, yeah.
The children will benefit, y'all will benefit, and then you can get to being excited and passionate about your life instead of rebelling. Because right now, you're really rebelling, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, today we're talking to people who say they're slaves to their spouse. That the problem is like, okay, they fell in love, and now they're married, but they don't like the deal, and they got nowhere to turn, nowhere to go. My next guest, Jason, says that his wife is bitter, angry, and lazy. It's up to him to clean the house, do the yard work, take care of the kids, and balance 2 checkbooks. Terry says, no, I ain't lazy. I'm not laying around doing nothing. Take a look, and then we'll talk.
I feel like a slave to my wife. I wake up every morning, wake up all the kids, feed the kids, get the kids dressed, feed the dog, and then I have to let the TV babysit the kids because my wife is still asleep. My wife is a very lazy person.
I do not think that I am lazy. I refuse to do things just because he wants me to do them.
I'll bring up, when was the last time you vacuumed, cleaned the toilets? She may have mopped 5 months ago. If the floor is dirty, it's okay because Jason will come and clean it up.
He loves to keep score on everything. If he does more dishes, more laundry.
If I don't do the laundry for the kids, I know they're not going to have school clothes in the morning. Up until about 6 months ago, I even had to do her laundry. I stopped doing it, and now her laundry just stacks up behind the door.
I'll do it when I'm good and ready to do it. I make dinner, but I don't like to clean it up after I'm done.
If I'm not around, Jason Jr. will take out the garbage. What she'll do is she'll seal the bag and place it beside the garbage. She won't bother taking the extra effort to walk 15 more feet. Jason's actually looked at me before and asked me why his mom was so lazy.
I bust my butt at work. I am on my feet all day long. I have arthritis. I have size F boobs. I'm in a lot of pain. I can't bend over a bathtub. I can't fold 3 loads of laundry.
Why don't we find some
once.
duties that you can do? Terry has a huge variety of different excuses why she did not help around the house. Her back, her breasts.
Jason has a less demanding job than I do. He works out of the home.
Most of the time when I'm doing work, I'm carrying a child around in one hand and talking to a client on my cell phone in the other. We actually got the counteroffer number 2 back today. My friends do call me Mr. Mom. It is embarrassing.
He has plenty of opportunity to take care of the things that I'm not interested in. I wonder if he isn't the lazy one. Jason used to be verbally abusive. A lazy effing bitch. Those were his favorite words. I have forgiven Jason for things that have happened in the past, but I haven't forgotten them. They weigh heavily on how I behave now. He doesn't recognize all that I do, and it makes me angry.
I'm taken for granted, not appreciated. Dr. Phil, I'm tired of being my wife's slave. How can I get her to help with the responsibilities around the house?
Okay, what do you say about all that? Because some of it you just hated seeing. For example, you said the reason your son says, "Why is mommy so lazy?" is because he's heard him say you're lazy.
I believe so. He's 8 years old. He wouldn't know any better unless he heard it.
Do y'all fight in front of him?
No.
Have you criticized her laziness in front of your children?
Yeah, I have.
So that's probably where he got that. Because that doesn't sound like an observation that would typically come from an 8-year-old.
No, but at the same time, she tells him to do a lot of things that he doesn't like to do. I mean, chores. But when he says these types of things, it's usually because he'll ask her to do something for him that he can't do, and the typical answer is get your dad to do it or do it yourself.
So is it true that you just ain't much on this domestic engineering?
I would say that was true.
You just don't like it?
I don't like doing housework. I've never really met anybody who did like to do it.
Yeah, that's my point. I thought one of the things that happened when you became an adult and matured is you realized that one change in life is that you no longer just do the stuff you want to. Now you do the stuff that you need to, have to, or is necessary to have access to the things you do want to do. So I understand you don't like it, but what's that got to do with it?
Well, in a lot of cases, Dr. Phil, it just doesn't occur to me to do it.
Well, I don't agree with that because half the time when I ask you to do it, you will tell me no.
So you're saying it's not just that she didn't think of it.
Right.
It's like when you bring it up, she says, well, now that you mention it, no.
I can't recall a single moment that's happened, but he probably can.
Yes, I can.
At the very worst, I would say, yeah, if I get a minute, I'll do it. I don't know if I've ever all out
That's
said,
actually the common excuse. If I get a minute, I'll do it. And I've stepped back to see if it ever does happen, and it doesn't.
Well, it's kind of like the Joan Rivers School of Housekeeping. She says, make the beds, vacuum, do the dishes. 6 months later, you got to do it all over again. And that's kind of how you'd leave it forever, right?
Maybe so. I agree that I don't do as much as most typical wives probably do in a home. They'll take care of everything. They'll work, they'll come home from work, they'll cook, they'll clean, they'll take care of the kids, and they'll expect absolutely nothing of their husband because generally he works all day too, and by the time he comes home, he just can't take anymore. I don't know why we accept that from men, but we can't from women.
Well, you don't. You don't accept
No,
it.
I don't, but I'm so different than everybody just totally boos me over it.
Both of you work outside the home.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the only reason I generally don't work as much, and she loves to use that excuse, you can work from the home. It's not that I'm supposed to be working from the home. I'm a realtor. I have to be out in the community to make any money. Most of the time, by the time I do what has to be done to keep the house life from boiling over, you know, because she gets mad when the house is dirty. So I know these things have to be done. The kids have to be taken care of. But by the time I actually get to work, we're talking 11 o'clock. So I know that. So when I first wake up in the morning, it's point A to point B to point C. I mean, it's over.
Do you need to do a better job at this, or is it just whatever?
I do need to do a better job. However,
you work more than he does outside the home, right?
Yeah, I have to be at work between certain hours. I have no choice.
Would that be a yes?
Yeah.
All right.
We were in the store shopping. I found myself carrying one child in my arm and pushing a full basket with the other hand while my wife walked beside me. As I struggled through the line, she still didn't bother to help. She picked up a magazine and started to read it. I began to empty the cart with a child in my hand. The store employees actually saw how hard of a time I was having and helped me push my cart so that I could carry my kid while she still read her magazine.
Well, now, Jason says he's expected to do all the housework while his wife does nothing. Now, his wife says that his job is less demanding than hers, so he just has more time to clean. Now, she says her husband loves to keep track of who is doing more. Jason says he just can't go on like this forever. Now, let me tell you what I'm curious about here. If he didn't do anything, if he just said, you know, I'm willing to do half of this, but I ain't willing to do it all, so if you're not going to do anything, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to match what you do. What would happen?
He did that in the past when we first got married. Mm-hmm. It got pretty ugly.
And it did, and at that time, actually, something that should come to light also is when I was working about 60 to 80 hours a week and she was at home all day long. So even though now she may be required to be out more hours than me, these roles have been reversed.
You like to talk a lot, so talk about this. Talk about the early part of the marriage when you were verbally abusive to her, called her an effing lazy bitch, and on a couple of occasions even the C word, and told family and friends that she was just a bad mother.
Yeah, I did. I've learned a lot since then. Obviously, I was young too. It's no excuse. I don't do it anymore. I don't condone those types of actions. I was very, very frustrated. There was a lot going on in the relationship at that time that we've worked past since.
Well, hold on. I don't think you have worked past that. How long you been married?
9 years.
Yeah, 29. Let me tell you something. Women have a really long memory. A really long memory. I'm just telling you. They have a really, don't you?
Yes.
But it really boils down to the dynamics of the situation, don't you know, when you got people involved? And I'm trying to figure out, here's an intelligent, industrious woman. You know, you have a career, you do well in your career. You know how to get on the business end of a shovel, so to speak. You know how to work. But yet, you just ain't much on doing that at home by your own description. So I'm thinking in my mind, okay, either she is lazy and this doesn't seem like you're lazy in your life overall, or she's being passive aggressive and just saying, okay, smart guy, you want everything so perfect, you just do it. And you said, and I quote, he was verbally abusive, and that quote weighs heavily on my behavior, close quotes. That's why I stopped you and said, we moved past that.
Okay.
No, you
I've moved past that.
past that. I'm not sure that you have moved past that.
Jason is manipulative to no end. He can tell me that it's actually 30 minutes later than it really is.
We are constantly late. If I ask her to get up early to help me, she gets mad.
I think it's just awesome that you can just jump right out of bed and get your day started. He's gotten me all stressed out for nothing. When I feel like he's hurting my feelings, I'll often remind him that underneath all this blonde hair there is a brain, and underneath all these boobs there is a heart.
Well, Jason says it's been a year since his wife cleaned the toilet, vacuumed, washed the car, or even dusted. He gets up every morning, gets the kids off to school while his wife is still in bed. He says now she's even complaining about the one thing she does do, which is make dinner. Now she says, wait a minute. I've got a really bad back because my chest is a size F, which keeps her in constant pain. She says she has arthritis, which makes it difficult for her to use her hands and do a lot of manipulations that go into housework. Terry says she'll help him when she's good and ready, not when he tells her to. That's what he says, that's what she says. Here's what I says. I says that people often fight about topics, but they don't deal with the underlying issues. The issue that underlies the whole thing is a whole lot of resentment. Look, you seem to really like sitting in the right chair. And like I'm right here. And you say that she knows because you have matured spiritually and because of your conviction, she knows you won't divorce her.
That's right.
And so you think that she's using that. She knows she's got you. This is a life sentence, buddy. Is that true?
I don't think so. I would hope that he would stay with me because he did see some good things about me. I really don't know what he thinks is so great about me at all. I certainly hope that he's not married to me because of his religion and because it's just not acceptable to divorce.
I don't think that's the point. I don't think he's married to you because he is religiously doctrined into it. And I don't think he's married to you because he's looking for a maid. I think he married you because he thought he was going to get a partner across the board. And I think he's just saying, you don't seem very interested in a partnership.
Well, I could throw that right back. There are a lot of...
You could throw it back if you wanted to be right, but instead, why don't you try to not be defensive and just say, argue his point for a minute. Could you do a better job partnering with him on the domestic front with the kids and helping around the house?
I could, and he could do a better job partnering with me on things that I need from him.
No doubt about it. And see, that's the beauty of negotiation. As long as you're in a relationship, the negotiation window is open for business. You are constantly evolving. Your careers will evolve, children will get older, their needs and challenges will change. So you constantly have to be negotiating, but you have to go at it with a spirit of resolution. Let's try to come up with something that we can both be excited about. If you have back problems because you're large-breasted, and that's not something to just sneeze at, that's a very real thing, I know. And if you have arthritis, which you clearly do, I mean, there's no question about that, then there may be other ways that you can divide the division of labor. There can be all sorts of things.
We've actually gone there
do.
before. You know, she tells me I can't do these things. I mean, do I have to have my doctor tell you I can't do these things? And I tell her, well, then do something you can do. Why do I have to handle the finances? Because it stresses you out too much, as you say. So now that's something, if you have arthritis, you should be able to take upon yourself and take care of it.
You would still complain. You would still complain.
If she still resents you because, A, you have a rather exacting and somewhat controlling nature, would you agree with that?
Yeah.
You're a pretty precise guy. And the question you got to ask yourself is how much fun are you to live with? You know, you may be very efficient, but not a lot of fun.
I'd agree with that.
And I think she kind of feels a little bit like she's living with her daddy. It's like, do this, do that, do this, do that. And listen, that just doesn't work. One of the things that jumped out that you said out of all of this, that you've told her that, gee, you're getting a little belly on you there. You might want to straighten up. Are you insane?
Doesn't like my haircut either.
Yeah, doesn't like the haircut. You need to get braces, and you're getting a little belly on you there, aren't you?
You know,
oh my
usually
God.
those.
I don't even like repeating that with her in the room, let alone. You know, I mean, come on. What I'm saying is, you got to lighten up a little bit here, and you got to get plugged in a little bit more here. And just as I said to this other couple, listen, sometimes it takes some outside help to broker a plan, you know, to actually just kind of put down a family plan. And I would be more than happy to bring y'all some help on that, to sit down and try to, A, help you get past the resentment that you clearly have, which is the issue, and then come up with a plan that will make your life go more smoothly so it doesn't build up until you explode. Are you open to that?
Oh, absolutely.
You got some resentment built up, don't you?
Yes, and I do. I have a lot of resentment that I don't know if it's ever.
Well, would you let me help you by getting some help to take a run at that?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, and then work on a family plan. But until you get past this, it's just not going to work. We've been talking today about conflict in marriage where one partner can feel held hostage by the other. Now, we have a plan. We're going to try to work on something with you guys that you can feel like you're both pulling in the same direction, right? And it's not about giving up everything you care about. It's about coming up with a plan you can both be excited about, where you don't feel trapped or imprisoned, either one of you, right? Right? Yeah. Yeah, your enthusiasm's underwhelming. But you are willing to participate?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and you are. Okay, same thing here. You got to work through resentment before you start working out details.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to get you both busy on that. All right, thanks for being here. So long. Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.